Honda just shocked the motorcycle world. The 2026 CB1000F isn't a rumor, it's here and riders everywhere are losing it. A clean, steel-bodied muscle bike that looks old school but rides like the future. No gimmicks, no chrome circus. Just real torque and that unmistakable Honda precision. Dealers in Europe are already flooded with pre-orders and US riders might have to wait. This isn't just another reveal, it's a warning shot to the whole industry. And if you wait too long, you'll be watching from the sidelines. The curtain drop, Honda's new CB1000F stood revealed, a breathtaking fusion of 1982 soul and 2026 precision. The room to pause. Cameras clicked, flashes cut through the haze, and every rider in attendance stared at what looked less like a product launch and more like a resurrection. The bike stood muscular and honest, unapologetically mechanical. The silver and blue tank shimmered under the spotlights, its polished metal catching every glint of chrome and memory. A round headlamp framed in brushed steel gave it the face of a machine that remembered where it came from. Every edge was deliberate, every line earned. No wasted curves, no ornamental excess. This wasn't a showcase of innovation for its own sake. It was something rarer, recognition. Honda had managed to design a motorcycle that riders already knew in their bones, even if they'd never seen it before. The CB1000F spoke in a visual language long forgotten by marketing departments. Proportion, stance, and presence. It was a statement against the disposable age of plastic panels and soulless aerodynamics. When the house lights came up and the wing emblem flashed across the stage floor, the crowd finally erupted. Applause, shouts, even a few tears, not for novelty but for faith restored. For riders who grew up watching CBs tear down highways in the 70s and 80s, this moment hit deep. It wasn't nostalgia, it was vindication. Metal had returned, attitude was back, and as the lights dimmed again, one truth lingered in the air. Beneath those vintage stripes, Honda was hiding something far bolder. The Bloodline reignited. Every generation of riders can name the bike that defined its youth. For the old guard, it was the CB750F, the original superbike that changed how the world measured performance. The new CB1000F carries that bloodline forward, not as imitation but continuation. The designers studied the old proportions, the tank slope, the way the seat framed the rear fender, and they translated that soul into modern steel. Honda calls it heritage in motion. The twin-spar steel frame honors its ancestors while hiding modern strength. Dual stripes echo bold door endurance racers, carrying echoes of Le Mans glory. Designed to feel timeless, the CB1000F looks inevitable, believable in any decade, perfectly balanced between past and present. For older riders, that sense of continuity hits hard. You can almost smell the oil on the floor of a family garage, the one your father worked in on Sunday mornings. The CB1000F revives those memories without turning them into museum pieces. It doesn't pretend to be old, it honors what being Honda meant before the company ever had to prove itself again. In the modern market of bright colors and aggressive wings, this bike's restraint stands out like a handshake among emojis. There's dignity in its simplicity, a kind of mechanical honesty that tells you it was drawn by people who've actually ridden, and that makes all the difference. And while it looked familiar, what lay inside was nothing like the bikes we grew up on. Like this, if Honda's comeback impressed you and subscribe to our channel, real riders know where legends begin. The heart under the tank. Underneath that calm exterior beats a motor born from battle, the same inline-4 lineage that powered the Fireblade. Engineers didn't chase lap times this time, they chased satisfaction. The CB1000F's 1-liter heart was retuned for real roads where the asphalt ripples and traffic lights dictate rhythm more than flag drops. Instead of a peaky race map, it now delivers torque where riders live, the mid-range. Honda's engineers reshaped cam profiles, lengthened intake funnels, and adjusted fueling to sharpen throttle response below 6,000 revolutions. The result is a pulse that feels muscular yet composed, giving you that old-school surge without the strain. The sound too has changed. They deliberately designed asymmetric funnel lengths on the outer and inner cylinders to create a breathing effect, a deep rhythmic note that reminds you this machine still inhales through lungs, not algorithms. It makes a little less peak power than the Hornet, but it pulls sooner, fuller, and more predictably. That's the kind of performance seasoned riders understand. You don't ride dyno graphs, you ride feel. And this bike gives you that classic roll-on pull that makes back roads addictive. Honda built this engine for riders who actually ride, people who clock miles, not followers. It's performance with manners, power with patience. It's the sound of a company finally remembering who made it great in the first place. Before we keep going, gear up right. I've linked the gears and accessories I use in the description. Take a look, then back to the story. The road feel revolution. The first reviewers who swung a leg over the CB1000F all said the same thing. It feels planted. That's not marketing talk, it's geometry done right. The chassis may share its steel twin-spar base with the Hornet, but everything else around it was reimagined for balance. Honda gave it a new subframe for better two-up support and revised linkage in the rear shock to add comfort at city speeds without losing stability. When you open it up, Honda shortened first and second gears for sharper throttle response and lengthened upper gears for calm cruising, controlled energy and motion. A 795mm seat, higher bars, and forward pegs create relaxed aggression, balancing comfort with control for confident, effortless riding on any road. On the road, that translates into something older riders immediately appreciate. It's a bike that doesn't fight you. It doesn't demand yoga-level flexibility or punish you for long days. Instead, it flows. The front end feels communicative but never twitchy, and the suspension's feedback is honest, not harsh. It's what happens when a manufacturer finally tunes a leader bike for human beings, not just test riders. As you roll off a long curve and hear the steady thrum beneath you, you realize why everyone looked stunned. This isn't just another model year, it's a statement that the feel of a motorcycle still matters. And as jaws dropped at the launch, Honda's next move would hit even harder: the price. The price play. When Honda finally announced the CB1000F sticker, the numbers rolled across the screen like a gauntlet hitting the table. £10,599 in the United Kingdom. In US terms, that puts it well below the flashy European competition, but above Honda's own Hornet. It was an aggressive figure, yes, but not reckless. Honda didn't slash to survive. They priced to prove a point. Dealers who had seen early prototypes whispered that the brand wanted to reset expectations of what a leader-class retro should cost. Rival brands like Yamaha's XSR 900 and Kawasaki's Z900 RS had long owned the middle ground between affordability and attitude, while Triumph's Speed Twin and BMW's R9T occupied the premium side. Honda planted its flag squarely in between. Affordable enough for the working rider, yet polished enough to stand toe-to-toe with the luxury crowd. It was a declaration that craftsmanship and reason could still coexist. For riders who count their dollars as carefully as their horsepower, that price struck deep. It said you could still buy something pure, honest, and fast without needing a second mortgage. The CB1000F promised pride of ownership without punishment. It told loyalists that Honda still remembered the blue-collar garage, the man who worked hard all week and rode on Sundays because it was his reward. It wasn't the cheapest leader bike on the floor, but it was the smartest. Honda has never been in the habit of chasing discounts. They chase dignity. This price carried the smell of strategy, the sense that the company was baiting its rivals into a war they couldn't afford to fight. But the low sticker wasn't luck. It was bait for a bigger game. The style war. Every manufacturer in the modern retro space is chasing ghosts. Yamaha's XSR line sells the dream of rebellion wrapped in aluminum, all sharp edges and digital confidence. Triumph's Speed Twin brings British muscle, chrome, and swagger. Kawasaki's Z900 RS basks in the memory of the 70s, all curves and nostalgia. Then came Honda, quietly, like a veteran who doesn't need to shout to remind you what he's capable of. The CB1000F doesn't scream for attention. It hums with it. The design is clean, deliberate, and timeless, restrained where rivals are flamboyant. Its tank carries a hint of the 80s, but its lines are pure 2026. The colors are subdued but proud. It's a motorcycle that looks like it could sit beside a CB750F in a photo and not break character. That kind of restraint takes courage in an era obsessed with extremes. Early dealer reactions were telling. Some Triumph shops called it dangerously elegant. Yamaha insiders admitted off the record that they wished they'd kept things simpler. Reviewers said Honda had found the sweet spot, cool without costume, confident without ego. And for riders who grew up when style was earned through miles, not marketing, the CB1000F hit an emotional frequency few brands can reach anymore. While others chase nostalgia with imitation, Honda built authenticity through discipline. It's not the loudest voice on the showroom floor, but it's the one riders listen to longest. And inside Honda's boardrooms, this wasn't just about looks, it was about legacy. The corporate chessboard Honda's play was never about one motorcycle. It was about reclaiming territory that had quietly slipped away. Over the last decade, superbike sales have slowed as riders aged, wallets tightened, and roads got busier. The average rider still loves power but craves something practical, reliable, and emotional. Neo-retros have filled that gap, giving speed a sense of maturity. Honda saw that trend not as threat but as invitation. On paper, the CB1000F celebrates the past, but strategically it's a Trojan horse. Blending Fireblade engineering with classic design, Honda lures veteran riders back, reviving nostalgia's comfort with modern technology's credibility. The soul was never lost, only rediscovered. Industry analysts note that Honda's move corners the market's middle ground, high quality at real-world prices. While Yamaha and Kawasaki duel over value and Triumph guards the boutique end, Honda positions itself as the sensible rebel. Premium feel without the pretense. Dealers love that position because it sells itself. Riders feel clever buying it. Accountants nod approvingly. In the chessboard of brand identity, this is check. Honda's move forces rivals to either raise their prices to justify prestige or drop them and risk losing their aura. It's a no-win situation for competitors, a classic Honda maneuver. But every move in this game costs, and the next player to pay might be you. The rider dilemma. Now the conversation shifts from boardroom to garage. You, the rider, stand in front of the decision that Honda engineered this entire campaign to create. Do you stay loyal to your current brand, or do you jump ship? Do you wait for your favorite manufacturer to respond, or do you claim the deal while it lasts? Pride tells you to stay put. Logic whispers that change might finally be worth it. For many riders, the garage is more than storage. It's identity. Every bike inside it tells a story. The miles, the breakdowns, the rebuilds, the victories. Replacing one feels almost like rewriting history. Yet when a machine like the CB1000F rolls into the picture, the equation shifts. It's not temptation for temptation's sake, it's validation. The feeling that someone finally built something that speaks your language again. Older riders, especially those who've been through the cycles of hype and disappointment, see the CB1000F not as another purchase, but as a homecoming. It's familiar enough to stir memory, but advanced enough to justify the leap. Still, caution lingers. You ask yourself the hard questions. Will parts be available? Will insurance rise? Will resale hold? These are the marks of a mature rider who measures emotion against practicality. And that's precisely what Honda counted on, the balance between pride and prudence. They didn't just build a bike, they engineered a moral test for every motorcyclist who's ever sworn brand loyalty. It's a clever, confident play, one that places you right at the center of Honda's long game, because on paper it's perfect. But the truth starts when rubber hits the road. Intelligence on two wheels. Riders used to distrust computers on motorcycles. We wanted cables, not circuits. Instinct, not algorithms. But as Honda demonstrated with the CB1000F, Technology doesn't have to replace control. It can refine it. The 6-axis inertial measurement unit works like a silent bodyguard, reading lean angles, acceleration, and braking to adjust traction and stability in real time. You don't feel it correcting you. You feel it giving confidence. Cornering ABS, throttle-by-wire and torque control work in harmony, stepping in only when physics pushes back. Rain or traffic, the CB1000F stays composed. With customizable sport, standard, and rain modes, plus 2 user slots, riders tailor performance effortlessly. Precision when wanted, freedom when not. Confidence becomes second nature. For riders who grew up relying purely on reflexes, this blend of protection and permission is revolutionary. It doesn't lecture you, it listens. The electronics fade into the background, leaving only smoothness. You're still the one riding. Only now the bike has your back when the road surprises you. It's confidence, not complexity, that defines this new generation of Honda engineering, and that's what modern trust feels like. A machine that quietly respects your experience while covering your blind spots. But even the smartest machine means nothing if it doesn't fit your body. The human geometry. Every motorcycle designer talks about ergonomics, but few truly understand what long days in the saddle do to a rider's body. Honda's engineers built the CB1000F around human rhythm, not showroom posture. The seat sits at 795 millimeters, low enough for confidence at stoplights, but tall enough for leverage in corners. The handlebars come slightly higher and closer, relaxing the wrists. The foot pegs are nudged forward and down, opening the knee angle just enough to keep circulation steady. Compared to the Hornet, the CB1000F feels mature and confident. Its upright stance suits older riders, while a redesigned subframe adds passenger space and center stand support. Honda didn't just tweak ergonomics, it redefined the conversation between rider and machine. You feel it the first time you lean out of a curve. The weight transfers smoothly. The suspension absorbs without protest, and there's none of that cramped fatigue that used to sneak in after 100 miles. The CB1000F feels like it was shaped by someone who's actually ridden cross-country, not just simulated it on a computer. It's a reminder that comfort isn't laziness, it's endurance. Comfort is one thing. Keeping it that way year after year is another. Ownership math. Motorcycling has always been about passion, but passion needs practicality to survive. The CB1000F's long-term math is where Honda flexes its quiet genius. Maintenance intervals stretch further than most rivals, and the proven inline-4 engine has earned a reputation for outlasting its owners. When you combine that with moderate insurance rates and predictable fuel consumption, the yearly cost of running one looks almost modest for a liter bike. Honda offers 3 accessory packs: Sport for sharper performance, Travel for touring comfort, and Comfort for daily practicality. Each adds thoughtful touches priced with real riders in mind, proof that Honda still measures value in smiles, not margins. More importantly, this bike earns trust over time. There's little drama, no finicky quirks, and no constant need for adjustment. It's the kind of motorcycle you can actually rely on, not babysit. For riders watching their maintenance budgets as carefully as their retirement accounts, that matters. You're not buying horsepower, you're buying peace of mind, the assurance that your next 10 years of riding will be spent riding, not wrenching. But even peace of mind depends on timing, and this bike's timeline is a story in itself. Subscribe now and join the ride. More reveals, more truth, and the next chapter of motorcycling history awaits you. Arrival and access. When Honda unveiled the CB1000F, European riders cheered, and American riders immediately asked, "When do we get it?" Distribution schedules show Europe receiving the first shipments by February of 2026. The United States rollout, according to dealers, will lag by several months, possibly into summer. That delay might not sound dramatic, but in today's market it changes everything. Scarcity fuels desire, and desire drives markups. Dealers expect long waiting lists. UK shops already hold early deposits, and US allocations look limited. Collectors gain bragging rights. average rider's weight, and importing from Europe offers no advantage as tariffs and costs quickly erase potential savings. Honda has said the staggered launch ensures quality control and dealer readiness, but the subtext is marketing brilliance. By making the CB1000F slightly elusive, Honda turns ownership into aspiration. Riders begin counting days instead of dollars. The forums buzz, social media hums, and that low growl of anticipation becomes the soundtrack of 2026. Waiting becomes part of the story, proof that a bike worth having is one worth chasing. And while riders wait, the rest of the motorcycle world is already reacting. Shockwave across showrooms. When Honda lifted the curtain on the CB1000F, the tremor hit every showroom floor within a week. Dealers who had been sitting on used leader bikes, especially older Fireblades, Z900 RS models, and Speed Twins, watched their prices slide overnight. Buyers suddenly had a new benchmark for value, and the old formulas no longer added up. Some dealerships reported inquiries doubling, but only for the new Honda, leaving other inventory to gather dust. Resale markets wobbled as pre-owned listings undercut each other. Proud owners of last year's retros felt depreciation sting early, yet some found satisfaction. Proof that Honda's craftsmanship and fair pricing could still move the market by merit, not marketing hype. Smaller dealers felt the squeeze first. They restructured floor plans, shifting mid-tier models to the back and building space for a machine that might not even arrive for months. For collectors and investors, the ripple carried risk and opportunity in equal measure. Some saw quick flips, others saw the end of inflated exclusivity. Either way, the CB1000F didn't just launch, it landed like a hammer on the economy of desire. For the first time in years, buyers, not brands, were in control. But this wasn't just a price war, it became a pride war. Rivals regroup inside boardrooms from Munich to Birmingham. Honda's reveal changed the week's agenda. Yamaha quietly pushed up the schedule for its next XSR refresh. Triumph's design team in Hinckley greenlit a project codenamed Eclipse, rumored to bring digital integration to its classic range. Kawasaki's engineers, proud defenders of nostalgia, began revisiting the Z900 RS platform to inject new technology without breaking its vintage appeal. Even Ducati, usually aloof from Japanese rivalries, began re-evaluating pricing on its modern classic lines. Industry insiders called it respectful panic. The CB1000F wasn't a fluke, but a signal that balance beats bravado. Honda's move reshaped R&D, pushing brands to design timeless, attainable bikes as heritage returned to corporate strategy with near-religious urgency. The reaction wasn't all fear. Many brands acknowledged Honda's precision. A Triumph executive even called it a return to proper motorcycling. Competitors respected how Honda managed to merge authenticity with innovation without alienating core riders. In a market increasingly fragmented by trends, the CB1000F proved that substance still sells. Still, admiration came mixed with rivalry. Every manufacturer wanted its answer, a machine that could challenge Honda's quiet dominance. The next 12 months promised an arms race of refinement, not rebellion. And outside Japan, the tremors reached places Honda never expected. Riders and culture. It didn't take long for the streets to respond. Within days of the reveal, online forums filled with arguments, admiration, and envy. Some called the CB1000F the real comeback. Others joked that it looked too refined to wheelie, proof that Honda had matured even faster than its fans. But beneath the noise was unity. Riders who hadn't agreed on anything in years suddenly found common ground. Respect for a bike that didn't try to be cool, it just was. From London to Los Angeles, cafes buzzed with sketches of custom CB1000Fs. Builders planned exhaust swaps, tail redesigns, and retro paint. The bike became a blank canvas for riders, sparking spontaneous CB runs that united old and new generations alike. The cultural impact ran deeper than fashion. The CB1000F rekindled something forgotten, the sense that motorcycles could be both art and tool, pride and practicality. Owners spoke of connection, of rediscovering the balance between control and freedom. For the first time in decades, Honda was the common language of two generations of riders. The machine didn't divide tribes, it merged them. But culture always follows money. And as demand surged, new challenges began to form beneath the surface, waiting to test whether this newfound unity could outlast the sales cycle. But even culture bends to economics, and the real test of this legacy lies ahead. The road ahead. Now that the excitement settles, the question remains, what does the CB1000F truly mean for Honda and for the riders who helped define its legacy? For Honda, it's proof that restraint can be revolutionary. The brand has reasserted itself as the moral compass of the motorcycle world, disciplined, precise, but capable of passion. For the broader industry, the lesson is unmistakable. Flash fades fast, but honesty endures. Analysts foresee ripple effects beyond sales. Honda's reliability and balance align with sustainability trends. Younger riders chase electrics, yet the CB1000F proves combustion isn't dead, just evolving. Efficient yet soulful, it may be the motorcycle that keeps real riding alive. For seasoned owners, the CB1000F represents closure and renewal all at once. It's a bridge between past and future, mechanical memory made tangible. You can feel its purpose in every weld and hear its promise in every low-rev hum. It restores something more valuable than speed: faith. Honda just reminded the world what real motorcycling feels like: steel, torque, and soul. If you respect that kind of engineering, hit like, drop a comment with the year and miles on your favorite ride, and subscribe for the next deep dive into the bikes that actually matter. We've got more truth, more proof, and more history coming your way. So tell me, would you park the new CB1000F in your garage or stick with what's already earned its miles?